When we look at inclusion in science, or who is participating in science, what does the data say about that? Not what's your opinion or what's your opinion, but what does the data say about that? And that does a number of things. That allows us to be evidence-based in what we're communicating, and it also allows us to challenge things like harmful stereotypes that people hold about why certain people don't belong in science.
Hi, my name is Skye Hennessy. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the project manager for the Laurier Centre for Women in Science.
Hi, my name is Eden Hennessy. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the Research and Programs Director for WINS. At WINS, our motto is explore, engage, and connect. And so the WINS Medium page provides an opportunity for students to do all of those things. They can explore scientific literature in and outside of their field of study. They can engage with the material and develop skills like knowledge mobilization and summarization. And then they can also connect by putting it out into the real world and getting feedback on that.
The Medium page can help change the culture in science because our students are empowered to speak more confidently about these issues, write more confidently about them, and thus get at those issues a little more early in their life, and also start modeling that for more and more students.
We really focus on mobilizing knowledge, especially around equity in science and inclusion in science. And why we do that is because if we don't have all voices represented around the table in science, we're not going to benefit from the diversity of disciplines, of thoughts, of perspectives.
We know that there are some challenges with science being inclusive and equitable, but those changes are happening. And now we hope with these tools and equipping our students with more tools that they can get those changes happening quicker.
My name is Asalish Kabadi. I go by she, her pronouns. So one of the articles that stood out to me the most talks about the way that you are represented to people, how masculine or feminine you come off, allows them to make a judgment of if you are in a STEM-based career and if you are not. So if you are a more masculine person, people are more likely to assume that you do have a STEM-based career.
We know that those stereotypes exist, look at that study. But we also know that we can be living examples of how to defy those stereotypes or how to dispel those stereotypes. So you can be both warm and competent, right? You can wear something sparkly and still be amazing at molecular biology.
I love the concept that we could be reaching out to 10-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 17-year-olds reading the page, and they might be then armed with the tools to not encounter the same things that some of us have already.
Hello, my name is Mridula Suresh. I go by she, her pronouns. So one of the articles on WinSights that really spoke to me is called Don't Blame the Queen Bee, Blame the Hive. So the article basically talks about how women in management positions face a lot of backlash for not supporting other women. But the actual problem is when women get into these management positions, they face a lot of pressure from their peers who happen to be predominantly men, and them supporting other women might not be faced with very positive feedback. So I think when we're talking about reform, it's very important for us not to point fingers and blame women, but instead talk more about the system and ways that we can make the system better.
Science itself is about change. It's about finding new information, gathering evidence, and then that new evidence, right, changes what your already existing opinions were. And so it's really critical for us to think about ourselves as a part of that change process, and that we are living this scientific experience of changing this culture right now.